we go. Back again for a moderately late arm day. Not that late. I mean, it's only 8:50. Oh, Jesus. Didn't expect a fucking semi to be going 90. But no, so what I wanted to say before we even kind of start the back day chatter, or no, what am I saying? The arm day chatter is I think I might not do an awesome job of explaining myself when it comes to the direct forearm days, right? Because I mean, we hear it kind of said a lot. You know, big ass fucking Olympia level characters, they never work their forearms at all, and their forearms are fucking massive. But you know, you're looking at the 1%. It's you know that's not necessarily applicable to everybody. But from my perspective, coming up, if I want my forearms to be bigger, I want to train them directly. I want to get an actual direct forearm pump and spend 100% of my mental energy on them while I'm doing it. You know, so when I see when I hear the comment like, "Sam, if you want bigger forearms, why not just do your back day without straps? Because then you're going to work your forearms while you're doing your pulling movements." Which you're not wrong, but you're kind of losing. Like, the point of the straps is not that I'm telling myself like, "Oh man, I'm too weak to hold this weight. I'm too weak to hold this." Like, that's not the point. That's not the logic. You know. Now, if you're trying to do a deadlift PR, non-competition, of course, then yeah, your grip strength may come into play where you're like, I physically can't hold this weight. I got to use some straps. But no, the reason that I like the straps so much on back days is because it lets me completely, or at least to a pretty larger degree, relax my forearms. You know, if I do a set of one arm pull downs and I'm gripping onto a fucking D handle, especially, I mean, all D handles, the handle spins. So you really got to hold it fucking tight so it doesn't slip out of your hands. You know, if I'm doing that with no strap, then even if I'm not, like, even if I'm trying, even if I only send enough signals to my forearm to just hold the weight and not have it slip out of my hands and have that be it, just in the act of really manually fucking flexing my forearm, I'm not going to be able to help it when I reach approaching failure and my forearm starts to give way. So I've got to fucking fire it harder, harder. And then I'm using my fucking, like, before I know it, I'm using my biceps and my forearms to even fucking pull the weight. When the whole time I should be completely focusing on my lats, and my scapular retraction, right? And my back. If there was a chest movement or a chest press where, I work a little bit of chest, but I feel a crazy amount of triceps, odds are I'm probably not going to want to do that much because if I'm trying to hit my chest, I want to only hit my chest. My kind of approach with the training is isolation. So if I want to have an arm day, I want to work my arms, and that's it. If I want to have a leg day, I'm hitting my legs, and that's it. So that's kind of where I'm coming from there. And then for me, kind of in history, I've seen the most forearm gains when I manually fucking work my forearms. You know, so I think the logic that you'd want to do forearms by just doing back day without a strap, without doing a strapless back day, and just raw dogging the fucking handles and really squeezing your forearms. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a flawed mentality, but I think you're just, you're trying to fucking kill two birds with one stone when you'd probably be way more effective at just killing two birds with two stones, you know? So, in my mind, and at least historically, my back days are better with straps and my forearm lifts are better when I actually work my forearms. And I think most of the people that say that, like, just work your forearms on back day, bro. I don't I don't pick up the vibe that these commenters, I'm not trying to dog you, but I'm not picking up the vibe that you've really done like an actual forearm workout where you get a forearm pump, you know? Because once you do that, I think you might change your mind. But if you don't, and you've got badass fucking forearms because you do back day with no straps, then that's fucking baller. You know, two ideas can be right at the same time. And don't forget, in terms of lifting, everybody's body is going to respond very differently to fucking everything else. Apart from the fact that like your literal muscle fibers are going to be, genetically different and more prone to hypertrophy or whatever. Some guys have actual legitimate like genetic buffs. Like your forearms might just be massive ass forearms, might just run in your family. There's guys who have big ass fucking calves where they don't work out a day in their life. They've just got them. So it's kind of, in terms of the lifting advice, there's a couple actual staple points which you can make, and I'd say are pretty much 100% legit 100% of the time. You know, Go hard, calories in, calories out, do your cardio, be fully hydrated, take all your vitamins and electrolytes. Like that's legit. I think that shit is legit across the board. Get a good night's rest. That's that's going to benefit everybody. But the actual nuanced details of how you actually get your results, it's going to be dependent on your fucking body. And not just your body, also your mind and like your whole neural network, your central nervous system. Some guys, who's to say that you don't have like the same fucking genetics in your actual muscle fibers as the dude next to you who's got really big lats. But for you, you've just got some kind of block where you can't really like activate them as crazily. There's all sorts of tiny little details that are going to change between you versus somebody else, versus him and her, and so that's where I say be more concerned with the basics. The basic overarching principles of your training. That's where you want to put the most energy into kind of optimizing. You know, Go hard, right? Drink all your water, get all your vitamins, take all your electrolytes, get a good night's rest, get hyped up and excited, watch some training motivation videos, go crazy. And if you got that mentality, if that's your approach, the details will just fall into place. Because the more you watch and the more you actually work out, your phone's going to show you lifting content out the wazoo. You know, that's its whole motivation to just pump. Like, oh, this guy's, I can, Alexa is listening to you. It's like, oh, this guy's interested in lifting. I better show him a bunch of lifting stuff. Which, I mean, that's kind of fucking creepy, but it will just show you all the fucking details you need to see. So as long as you're actually going hard, I think you've got some serious gains in your future. And depending on how far you are in your fucking lifting journey, I'm probably talking to some of you guys who are fucking bigger than me. So you're kind of hearing this like years in the future. So whatever. Arms, push downs, curls, straps on the curls, depending on if it's dumbbells or cable or whatever. And then I can't even say almost. I can guarantee I'm gonna have a nasty fucking arm pump. So let's just get started on triceps. Took a second to kind of decide. I was a little bit torn between if I wanted to start with like a nasty heavy set of straight bar pushdowns or rope, but I think I've made my choice. Relatively light, like not light, but like 100, you know, essentially half the stack ish single arm pushdowns. And then with these, the point isn't like this isn't when I do incline bench when I'm trying to do as many reps or as much weight as I can for 10 reps or 8 reps or whatever. The point isn't necessarily the weight. Like this is going to be a hard set because at the bottom, I'm going to squeeze for an extra fucking second as hard as I can. I say the same shit every time. I'm trying to bend my arm backwards like I've been fucking possessed. So my right tricep's a little bit behind the game compared to the left one. So I hit failure on the right, match the reps on the left, then we go from there. I've got picked of the litter. It's about that packed right now. Yeah. 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 Oh my god. Oh. Oh, yeah, notice the difference in difficulty of that 12th rep. So the fact that I didn't hit total fail on the left side means you got a little less work and the right one can catch up. But let's repeat this for a little while. If it feels good, spam it. Oh my God. Oh. Oh my God. Oh, goodness. All right. One or two more. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. I think that's enough of that. Let's see if I can figure out something overhead. Slim pickings. An overhead machine would be ideal. It's like a whole fucking mechanism made specifically to put something over your head like this, but let me see if I can find something. So, this is probably just a cue that I need to really stretch out my fucking shoulders. But for me, I can't fucking get 100-pounder over my head like this. Like, this does not feel natural for me at fucking all. But single arm dumbbell does. So, this movement, not so squeeze focused. Like on those single arm pushdowns, I kind of came up top in the stretch position to rest. And the hard part was the squeeze at the bottom. With a movement like this, I mean, just think about it. When my arm's straight up, there's no tension on my tricep. All the weight's just being pushed like through my fucking skeletal system, right? So, what that means for me is the real difficult part is the bottom, right? So, when I'm down here in the stretch position, that's like the whole of the movement, like the whole of the squat. So, I'm not going to hit failure like up here. It's going to be like an abrupt, it's not coming back up. Then I can swing it around, switch arms. But this will be a very good long head focused stretching kind of tricep movement. 55 will be about right. I don't want to go too heavy since I haven't done this for a little while, but this is enough. I mean, just after a feeler rep, this will be a good weight. Oh my god. That might be too heavy. Oh my god. Oh. One more like that, at least. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. One more. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's go back to something push down related. Not sure if it's going to be straight bar, rope, handle. We'll find out. I'm going to ease up on the heft and do some reasonably light rope reps. So these are going to be nothing too wild. I'm not going to hold it for a whole second at the bottom either. Just reasonably smooth tempo reps, squeeze, burn out, probably do some nasty partials at the end as a finisher. You know the drill. And I think that's something which, like, at first glance, yeah, I understand the criticism. I mean, especially when a clip gets or when a set gets clipped and you only get to see the 5 ending reps where I'm like barely moving the weight at all. Yeah, right. The way to say those are not awesome reps. I mean, I agree. If I saw someone do an entire set where all the movement was just like fucking 3 inches range of motion, yeah, that's a jack shit set. But if a normal set, I mean, regular fucking reps, top to bottom, good stretch, good squeeze, you do 15 reps like that, to suddenly just racket the weight, just to fucking racket, say, oh, I'm done. I can't do another perfect rep. I think you're just going easy on yourself, man. You know? So for me, I'm trying to push it just as hard as I fucking can. Now, I'm not going to get to the point where I physically can't move the weight at all, but there's somewhere between not being able to move even half an inch versus having a complete perfect rep as the last rep. Somewhere in there is a good finisher. And I think if you do perfect reps the whole set and then you rack it, I think you cut the set early. So that's my thought there. At least with these kind of movements where you can do partials. I wouldn't expect someone to do like partials on a squat where they have like 3 plates in the back and they've already failed. That's a little different story. But let's squeeze this shit. One more pin heavier because I spent so long talking. I'm a little stronger. Ugh. 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 Yeah. Ugh. 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 Okay. Let's let's do something. I'm not sure, but not this. One set of rope is enough. I don't want to do another one. Not a conventional set, but every so often I like kind of throwing in some. I don't even know what a good word for it is. Not alternating, not like kind of rest pause. So 5 reps on one side, then immediately switch, do 5 on the other. Five, 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 like that until I hit failure. Just a different way to go about it. It's like I love rest pause sets. Like when I do a heavy chest press or something, pretty much hit just about failure or a point where I'm real close to failure. Rack the weight, sit for a second, catch my breath, get a little bit reoxygenated, just a touch of rejuvenation, and I can do a couple more reps, which I may not have gotten if I only did a straight set. So adding stuff like this in terms of frequency, like I'll see this comment a lot. It's like, how often should I do supersets? How often should I do drop sets? I don't know, every so often, you know? Like I mean, I do tons of workouts where it's all just basic straight sets. Like pick a weight, fill out that weight, either do it again or move on to a new movement. So it's just I don't think there's anything special there. I could do a workout where every set's supersetting, and I could do one where every set is a drop set or every set's a straight set like normal. As long as the sets you do are hard, I think you're fine. But I would probably lean towards saying the majority of your sets should probably just be basic straight sets to failure. But I could see doing, I don't know, maybe 25% drop sets or supersets or things fancy like that. Like if I could do straight bar push down, hit failure, drop the weight, switch the handle to a rope, and then burn out with the rope. I mean, that'd be a good set too. Don't be so concerned about the style of sets themselves, right? Be more concerned about the actual intensity and effort of them. And like I said in the car, things will just start to fall into place. But let's throw this around a little heavier. Yeah, even a little heavier than that. Yeah, 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 yeah. 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 Okay. All right. Turn it into a little drop superset. Yeah. 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 Oh my god. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I don't have a scientific explanation for doing underhand and then overhand. Just feels good. Let's finish with a regular heavy pushdown set and then switch gears to biceps. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, not a drop set, but a rest pause. Oh my God. Ah, let's start some curls. Tries are cooked. Let's let's be controlled here. Let's grab the 55s, take them through the paces, and see where biceps end up. If this set feels really good, I might just sit here and do 6 sets of dumbbell curls. Not impossible, but we'll see. There we go. Okay. I'm not done. I just want to make it a little bit of a rest pause set. Oh my God. Oh. All right. Another set of dumbbells for sure. Maybe a little bit different style. To be determined. Oh yeah. Let's move on to something else. Oh, Sam, this does not look like a curl. What the heck are you doing? And you know what? I would be oh fuck. Whoops. No, I would so I've said the same thing before. When I first heard someone say like, close grip chin-ups are an awesome bicep builder. I hear that and I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? That's a back movement. I had a closed mind. I had a closed mind as a lifter, but now I see. So I would say this is a little better with a cable. If I was a back and biceps fan, then I would probably be slamming chin ups, but I like hitting back and biceps on their own days. But close grip, underhand. I mean, this is basically looks like a pull down. I'm sitting down, gonna grab up here, right? I'm doing a pull down, but I'm trying my absolute hardest not to work my fucking lats at all. All I'm trying to do is like
It's kind of hard to explain, but it looks like a pull down. My arm is going like this, which is a pull down motion. But what I'm trying to do is only focus on squeezing my fucking biceps. So even though this is a pull down, if you were to fucking zoom in and green screen out my whole body and just isolate my arm is doing a curling action, right? I'm using my bicep to pull this weight towards my shoulders. So it's tricky. It's tricky, I give you that. But in terms of in terms of the squeeze, absolutely fucking atrocious in a good way. And another thing which it's kind of a it's a benefit and a drawback, but as I do these reps, my biceps are going to get fatigued. I can basically give myself self assistance because I can just have my lats come into play a little. I'm trying not to use them at all. But for the last like 5 or so reps, if my biceps really can't be the main mover and my lats help a little, I'm just giving myself assistance. So let me get hyped up. And I'm not kidding. Really try to squeeze this shit. This is where the magic is. If you just sit here and pump these out, I don't think it'll do you as well. But let me get hyped up. Oh my god. Oh. Ah. One or two more. Just like that. Woo. And I'm not usually one to be too specific about the movements I do for biceps. Like usually I'm kind of the guy to say like if you do a concentration curl or a dumbbell curl or a barbell curl, you're working your bicep. But these I'm feeling a crazy bias towards my outer head over here and my brachialis. This kind of fancy pants muscle between your biceps and your triceps. I'm really feeling it fucking firing. Because in a way, I'm kind of pulling my arm out, like towards the outside of my shoulder a little, whereas the dumbbell's a little bit more in line. If you try it, you'll notice. But a few more. Switch to the straight bar, but same shit. I kind of end up holding the bar with my fingertips, not with my full palms. I feel like I get a little too much form when I hold on like this. I think the fingertips is just about right. Yeah. Yes. Oh my god. Ah. I think I'm gonna try to use straps for the next set, but same shit. Let's run it up. Oh, this is way better. Ugh. 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 Okay. One more. Last one, I think. Ugh. 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 Yeah. Ugh. 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 Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. Let's well, let's move on, of course. 4 sets of those is more than fucking enough. Wow. What do I want to do next though? If you were me, what would I do? Or what would you do? Let's have a little brainstorming session here. I like spider curls, but that's kind of a movement that's a little bit more squeezing focused, which these 4 sets were. So that kind of makes me lean towards something a little bit more stretch focused. I might want to do single arm. So what do you think? I'm going to do a movement which is kind of, there's an emphasis on the stretch position, single arm, and I haven't done it yet this lift. What do you think it is? Bingo style. Write it down. 3, 2. So that may have been a little bit of a trick question because there was actually 2 answers. I If you guessed dumbbell preachers, you were right. But I actually stopped on one of the incline benches to do like kind of incline bench stretch curls like this, however you call it. But it felt kind of funky, so I didn't really want to do it today. But if you guessed preachers, good fortune is coming your way. Let's just say that. So only a 45, really gonna squeeze hard. I hmm, I'll decide. I think this is not the finisher. I'm gonna do a few more sets than just this one. So I'll make this just a straight set, nothing crazy, some self-assisted reps to failure, and then we'll go from there. Or I guess rather keep going from there. Yeah. 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 Oh, that's good. Holy crap. Oh my god. Woo. That was a really good set. Let's repeat for the other arm. Yeah. 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 Oh my god. Ah, wow. Okay. I've got a plan for the finisher. One more set, then we go post down. I have a thorough plan for this finisher. Now, typically, when I think of kind of a superset, usually it's going to go heavy movement first, and then drop the weight and do more of a squeezing movement. That's what the majority of my supersets end up being, like heavy pressing, rack the weight, whatever, and then do like cable flies or heavy rows, superset it into light squeezing pull downs, like things like that. But at the end of the lift, you can kind of be a little bit more funky with it, I think. So instead of trying to like curl the 70s and then drop to the 40s, I can kind of do a little bit of a backwards set kind of set because I'm not concerned about the weight right now. If all I had to do was pick up the 15-pound dumbbells and that's all I could do for 20 good squeezing reps, that's fine with me. I'm not trying to overload my biceps right now. I'm just trying to really burn them out and fucking give them that sensation of well, I guess there's no better word than fucking burning. So plan for this one: dumbbell curls into easy bar curls. This is the 70. So I'm going to start with the 30s and do kind of a little bit of an unconventional curl. I don't see this much. Instead of standing here with them at my sides and curling up in front of myself like this, I'm going to kind of let my arms hang in front of my torso a little and almost curl towards my opposite shoulder. And like those cable curls or those bicep bias pull downs I did earlier, this will kind of work a little bit of extra brachialis. Just a little. It's still hitting your whole bicep, but I definitely feel a little more burn on this outside peak. But as long as at the end of your bicep day, your whole bicep is fatigued, then you're solid. But so the 30s first, grab this fucker and swing it around as far as much as I can, get the finishing touches out. And then all we got to do is find some badass lighting and hit some most musculars. It's perfect. Actually, wait, I want a different song. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, that's enough. That's just the pre-exhausting portion. It's not over. I got 10 more reps in here for sure. Okay. Okay. That was a nasty fucking burnout. Let's go pose down. Arms complete. So the benefit of coming in late, they're about to shut down. I get the freakiest fucking lighting possible. Everything completely dark except for one bright ass spotlight. That's what you're looking for. So honestly, this lighting's probably gonna add an additional fucking 2-3 pounds of lean mass to my fucking arms, which I'm fucking fine with that. So let's run through some classics here. Not hold them up too much. Oh man, I fucking feel pumped. That's for certain. But I guess that's it's not like that's actually a real question. Oh, let's see how we're looking on the rear side. Yeah. Okay. One crucifix, and then we can fucking roll. Let's get in the fucking car. Arms complete to my fucking full satisfaction. That lift was absolutely everything I could ever ask for, at least in an arm day. So this is a. I didn't necessarily have to really battle my, my mind to get hyped up for every set, because arm day, I don't have to. I don't have to sit there and seriously get hyped up like I do for squats and stuff. So I think it's a little easier, but there's a certain way of putting it, which is essentially the state of being that you want to reach to really be into something. I'm talking high level fucking legit enlightenment type shit here. It's the way the kind of saying goes is that you should be able to practice without striving. Right? And what that means is, in a workout context, go as hard as you possibly can, but, do it easily in a way. Right? I'm talking be formless like water, flow and then crash like nothing. So what I mean by that is the guys who seriously work out for a long time and they really get fucking good at it, they're getting legit results, they're fucking on their grind on the daily. These guys, they don't necessarily feel like they're fucking on a crazy grind every day. That's just become their new baseline. I don't have to wake up in the morning and I'm not sitting there staring at my shoes like David Goggins. My cardio is not that intense, but I just go do the cardio. It's nothing. It's just part of the routine. So same thing with your training on a little bit more of a trickier level, but the easier that you can make it on yourself to push your sets to pretty much absolute failure, as close as you can get to it. And that's a little, I mean, those some of those tricep sets, those were actual legit failure, but sets like those, that barbell curl finisher with the easy bar, like that wasn't necessarily complete perfect muscular failure, because I mean I could still probably swing some partials. So it's kind of right legit failure, or just until you've done a seriously hard and intense set. But the easier that can be for you to do that on the regular, then you'll kind of just be in a state of being where you're making gains and progressing, and that's a little bit hard to envision, especially for the beginner, and really especially for the uninitiated. For someone who has never worked out at all and they're interested, and they're watching fucking every influencer character under the sun and every like professional bodybuilder,
they're fucking spending hours per day on this shit, even outside the gym, dealing with their diet. And in the gym, they look like they're fucking killing themselves with their intensity on the fucking curls and push downs and everything. Uh, I mean, from an outside perspective, it looks like fucking torture. You know, your meals are now regulated. Your sleep is now regulated. You have to go through hard physical training. Like, I don't think anybody has an awesome experience with like high school gym class. And for a lot of people who weren't really into sports or anything, that's their only fucking exposure to like anything athletic. At least if you didn't end up pursuing anything else. So if all you got exposed to in terms of exercise was fucking getting pelted with dodgeballs in gym class or having to run suicides or whatever, yeah, you're probably not going to have the best, or at least not the most, what's the word I'm thinking of here? Not the most positive correlation in your mind with the gym. But yeah, from an outside perspective, it looks rough. But the guys who are in it, and once you get into it and you're really doing this on the regular, you know, you kind of start to realize like the value and the fun part, it is in the effort. You know, it is in the fucking training. Like I'm not, when I wake up in the morning and like I'm looking at myself in the mirror, you know, might bust out a flex or two on a pretty frequent occasion, of course. That's not the fun part. I mean, that's cool. I mean, it's definitely cool, of course. But the whole really fun part about the training is actually doing it. You know, like for someone to just flip a switch and they're instantly C-bum level, like day one non-lifter to C-bum level lifter, do you think that's going to absolutely change that guy's life? No fucking chance. You know, the reason that guys like fucking Chris Bumstead and Jay Cutler and everybody else are who they are, it's because they went through the process of this training for fucking 10, 15, it depends on the guy, 20, 25 years. That's what makes them who they are. That's why they're these pinnacles of fucking, I mean, of weightlifting, of bodybuilding. So somehow, and I mean, I'm not you, so you have to figure this out on your own, but to reach a point of not only comfortability, which is going to come with experience and just lifting for a long enough time, but to somehow get yourself seriously excited and really enjoy the training that you're doing, then that's where a switch flips. That's where your mind somehow transitions. You know, if something clicks, you actually get a real fucking eureka moment. And once you reach that point where you enjoy the training and it no longer feels like a chore, dude, the sky's the limit. Not even, you know, I don't want to restate my quote I kind of said a little bit ago, but you know, the guys at your gym, the biggest dogs at your gym, they're not, you know, somehow the most fucking like, I mean, I'm not trying to rip on anybody here, but like they're not the most hardcore fucking like militant, like I don't let myself have treats. I'm serious about my training. They like to do it, you know, and it's hard to I can't sell that to you because I don't know how to do it for you. Like I feel a little bit not like imposter syndrome, but I feel a little bit strange sometimes when I make these, you know, because half these car talks I'm talking about like the motivation, like how to get really amped up and everything, or like any tips that I've kind of learned along the way. But for me, I mean, you know, you don't have to ask me how to get excited. You know, you don't have to ask me like what's driving me to come to the gym every morning, or what's driving me to track my protein and my meals and everything else. I just like to do it, you know, because I know that that's, for one thing, what I have to do to get the results that I want to get. But even on a more just day by day level, like that's my thing. I wake up and like if that doesn't happen, my day is now worse. If for whatever reason every gym in the world fucking closed, dude, I'd be pretty fucking irked. I'd be goddamn upset. You know what I'm saying? So I think everybody needs something like that. I kind of say this same sort of idea a lot, but I think the value in it kind of warrants repeating it all the fucking time. But I think everybody and their mom needs something on a pretty regular basis. You don't have to do this every day, but you need something where like this is your thing, you enjoy doing it, you're practicing it. It has a long-term scale of progress where like if you do it for a couple years, you will legitimately be better. I mean, you know, you need something like that because what else are you supposed to do, right? I mean, just think about it. You got X amount of years. What are you just gonna fucking hang out with your boys and like watch car crash compilations? I know I've done that on pretty freaking fucking occasion. Or I mean, there's more to life than just watching an epic fails video, right? So that's where having something which you do get legitimate enjoyment out of, right? You can do on a consistent basis. There's a long-term scale of progress to it, and purely by working at it, you get a fucking like neurochemical reward response in a good way, right? Like fucking after that lift, I'm sure every fucking feel good hormone in my brain is going wild right now because I'm like, nice, I did it. I'm satisfied with myself. I got physical activity, and I'm fucking, I'm getting some pride because I'm like, ah, that was a good lift. I love it. Like that's just fucking badass. So that's something for you to kind of think about to implement into your journey. If you know you're going to be lifting for a long time, if you're maybe 6 months deep, every so often you should kind of come to a realization that like, okay, I need to step it up. And I've done this probably 10 fucking 15 times. I don't know how many. But as a beginner, my first my first exposure to working out was like back when I did diving and gymnastics from like middle school to like first freshman year college-ish. We do workouts. We do a lot of calisthenic stuff. We do some pull-ups. We'd have a few like occasional weight training sessions, but nothing crazy. Not anything bodybuilder-ish. We're not sitting there doing heavy dumbbell curls. It was mainly like shoulder press and like hip thrusts and shit. Nothing that we'd probably think of as really fun. But that was my intro. And then, I got a pair of 30-pound dumbbells. Anybody that's kind of heard me go through this already gets it. But, sophomore, or I think no, June. No, yeah, sophomore in high school, had a pair of 30s next to my desk. So I just kind of fucking, curl them every so often. I had a mirror so I could fucking watch. I don't even know if I was actually even lifting to the point of getting a pump, but I would do a couple of hard sets. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna, go up to Pops, go up to Mr. Sulik. Can we get a squat rack in the basement? Because we already had like an old, like pretty. I mean, even though it's old, it's a real kind of fucking like buff incline or like adjustable bench, barbell, like 300 pounds worth of weights, and then the dumbbells from like 10 to 50s or no 10 to 60. So we had all the weights already kind of in the basement a little bit, which I'm kind of spoiled with. But we get a little rack. So after just doing some occasional fucking dumbbell curls, I would just bench every couple days. Or actually, I don't. I don't think I was benching every couple days. I would just bench every day, like not not really working out, just kind of doing it. Honestly, as a beginner, all I was doing was I kept testing out my 1 rep max. It's somewhere. There's videos. I need to find it. I really wish I was into the like documentation of things from early on, just so I had more old training clips. But there's like some video on like one of my iPods somewhere, because I was like fucking 16 at the time. But there's like a video of me failing like 195 on flat bench somewhere. I really gotta fucking find that shit. But that's all I would do. So like for a couple of weeks, I just kept benching. I'd do some curls and stuff, and some lateral raises. I was a diehard Callum Von Moger fan. I'm fucking watching all those workouts, the ones where like he goes to the bodybuilding show and he's like fucking playing Xbox, talking on the game chat and stuff, and just like so started there. Then eventually one of my friends who had a he was into bodybuilding way more than me at the time, of course. Like this guy's actually competed before, so he brought me to the YMCA a couple times. Like I'd been there, I hadn't really done any real workouts there, so we did a couple workouts together. And after that, it was pretty much just off to the fucking races. I'm watching like every science based, like what's the best workout split? Like, I mean, I've got old, like Google Docs on my fucking drive from when I'm watching like Jeff Nippard videos of like, okay, how frequently should I hit every muscle group? Like, how much volume is good per week? Okay. So I'm like writing out my workout splits and everything. I'm doing weird splits where I would do like quads and triceps because I wanted to hit everything evenly as possible twice a week, like little like random shit like that. And just over time, from kind of gradually accruing more and more knowledge and getting a little bit more and more serious. Like in the beginning, I wasn't tracking any macros or protein. I don't think I started even tracking anything for like a fucking year. I'd make sure every time I ate, I would have like protein. Like I would try to make my turkey sandwiches like double stacked with a bunch of fucking turkey. And but that was it. I wasn't even really like bulking at all. As a beginner, for a pretty substantial period of time, I think main gaining is the way to go. Because all you're trying to do is really gain training experience. And as a beginner, you don't need a bulk to actually develop muscle. So if you're kind of curious, like, should I bulk? Should I cut? I'm 2 months into working out. Dude, just fucking start eating your protein. If you're a 150-pound dude, eat 150 grams a day, and then just keep working out. Odds are, as a beginner, if you start training and you haven't trained before, what's going to happen is just the fucking stress, and I mean stress in like a good way, of working out, and now the new energy outlet that you have, it's going to make you hungrier, so you're going to end up eating more. I mean, not that it's a massive fucking viewer base, but any moms out there watching this right now, or if you know your fucking mom, I'm sure she'd say the same shit. As soon as like you start working out, or like your kids start working out, yeah, you notice their fucking appetites increase. They're actually eating a fucking ton of food, and of course they're gonna notice because they're the one buying all the groceries. But just from working out, hit your protein. That's all I would even care to focus on as a beginner, and then you're just gonna kind of eat as much food as you need afterwards. Now, if you're really on the scrawny side, like fucking, I don't want to say skin and bones, but like really fucking lean, then your appetite may be a bit low at baseline, so you might have to try to force it a little bit more. But you know, odds are, if you've got the itch, if you're excited about the training, then just by doing it, just by going to the gym on a consistent basis, having fun with it, really pushing yourself, like watching the guy next to you go hard, and then you get that kind of competitive fucking nature, like, oh, I'm gonna go harder than this guy, dude. I mean, it's just, it's a lot of fucking fun. It's, and I'm there's guys probably watching this video who've been working out for 25, fucking 30 years, more kind of older crowd, but even as a, I don't want to, no, I can't even say newbie. As a moderately experienced lifter as myself, and like looking back at my time, this is like the most fun I've fucking had, right? This past 6 years, in terms of like looking at everything I've done as an endeavor, this is probably the most fucking fun and enjoyment I've gotten out of anything. And that may just be because I'm kind of wired for it. I don't think everybody is, of course. But if you can find something like that, and you can be able to lock into it enough where you get to look back and say, wow, I've spent these last 3 months, this last year, these last 3 years really doing something I love to do. There's such a fucking sense of like satisfaction and contentness that you get, which just doesn't happen without a reasonably long workload. I've said this before, but anything that you can do that's reasonably cool, it's gonna take a while. Now, I'm not gonna say it's like fucking as difficult as getting into med school or as becoming an astronaut, but for anybody who can do anything really cool, like anybody who's really good at being a fucking like anybody who's a really solid fucking artist or guitar player, or like you're getting into animation, or you're a fucking crazy. I mean, one of my friend's brother, he's like a fucking coding wizard, like going to international competitions and stuff. Anybody who's really kind of I don't even want to say approaching the pinnacle, but is in like the top 5% of people in a skill group at something, it's going to take a solid amount of fucking hours to get there. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you can make those hours fun, doing something you enjoy to do, shit's just going to fucking happen. So that's the end of my shtick there. Really, I'm just fucking extra excited because I had an awesome arm day, and there's nothing else to say other than that. But plan now, go home, eat some food. This truck just cut this car off, so I'm gonna try not to get involved with this potential road rage incident. Cardio in the morning, and then legs tomorrow. I'm gonna be very. I was about to say particular. I'm not gonna wake up to an alarm. I want to get a solid ass amount of sleep tonight, so I can really go fucking nuts on legs tomorrow. But this morning's morning weight. Yeah. Was that 252? So there is kind of a couple pound fluctuation. I'm not gonna say I'm like a guaranteed 252 right now, but that's about what the starting weight is, fully carved up. So dieted down, flat, not full of fucking water and carbs like I am now. I was more like 240-ish. So even though I've gained literally 12 fucking pounds in less than 2 weeks, just a week and a half, do not be fooled. That is not 12 pounds of contractile tissue and muscle. All that is the muscle that I do have. In a way, it basically acts as a sponge to the point where it can hold a pretty solid amount of fucking water and sugar. So when I start eating in a bulk, all those little spaces inside all my muscle fibers, which can hold this fucking glycogen, fucking carbs and water, they're gonna basically swell up. So what I'm concerned with, or at least how I look at it, is I want to make sure that I'm fully carbed up perpetually for this bulking phase. So I've always got a crazy amount of fucking energy stores in all my fucking muscles across my frame. So I've got an immediate fucking you know, source to draw upon to start the recovery process. So as I get a little bit bigger, I'm gonna have to eat some more and just get to the point where eventually I might have some 6,000 calorie days. We'll just have to see. But yeah, 252. We're gonna fucking blink and I'm gonna be 290. Maybe not 290, but you know what? I'm not gonna hold myself back by saying it's impossible. So let's just get some good night's rest and repeat tomorrow. So I'll see you then.